What's going on, everybody? In today's video, I want to talk about sports card investing because I get asked oh so often, Murph, who are the best players I should be investing in, or who are the top guys to be investing in? And oftentimes people will immediately think of the new age players and the modern players, your Lucas, your Jackson Holiday, Connor Bedard, Victor Wembanyama, all these new aged players. And you know what? Maybe you can make a couple dollars off of it. Maybe you can make a quick buck off of it because you flipped it. However, if you're looking for long-term sustainability, which I think a lot of people are fairly, wanting compared to a quick flip, is a lot of long-term growth and again that sustainability, then I do believe your old school players, your GOATs, your legends is the way to go. And I have accumulated 5 players that I strongly believe in that people should be quote unquote investing in if they're looking to invest in such players. So as you can see here on the screen, first one is Michael Jordan, obviously very well regarded as the GOAT of basketball, GOAT of sports in general, and he is a great buy, I do believe, long term. But as you can see by this chart, it doesn't look like it's the greatest. Now, this is a 3-month window from Card Ladder here. As you can see, it's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up again, and currently is kind of trending up right over here. And there's just been so much Michael Jordan cards sold, whether it's cards from the 80s or the 90s, maybe some 2000 cards from the waning days of when he was playing. But Michael Jordan will forever be regarded as the GOAT, as the best basketball player ever, and there's nothing that's going to change that. As we look at a guy like Luka, and I'm not going to bring up a chart here because I don't think Luka is one of those long-term sustainable investments, but if you look at a guy like Luka whose cards are going crazy, ask yourselves, why is his cards going crazy? He hasn't won an MVP, he hasn't made the finals, he clearly hasn't won the finals, so what are we really sinking our teeth into with Luka Doncic here? So let's stick with basketball. Let's look at Steph Curry. Best shooter of all time, another GOAT, another legend, 4-time champion, multiple-time MVP. And yes, we do see the stuff is going down. However, when I see downward charted trends, that just tells me it's a great time to buy, because if things are going down, then that means the price to get into such is at a much more affordable price, at a more appealing price for me, especially with all this hype right now around Victor Wembanyama. And then you got Scoot Henderson, Jalen Green. Again, we can talk about Luka again. Steph Curry, who's still playing, unlike Michael Jordan, but Curry is still playing and he can still go out there and light it up on the scoreboard, do some incredible crossover, shoot it from 3/4 away, win another MVP, win another championship. I mean, the possibilities are endless with this guy. However, we already know who Steph Curry is and what he's done on his resume, which will make him a first ballot Hall of Famer and arguably a top 5 player of all time when it's all said and done. And I just think people, when they want to talk about investing in sports cards, and again, I'm just talking about basketball, but I'll talk about baseball and football too in a minute. When they talk about investing in basketball cards, again, they quickly think Tatum, Luka, Wembanyama, because he's so tall, freaky, and can do everything. Well, what about the guys that have already done everything and who have already made a name for themselves? Even LeBron, whether you love him or hate him, yes, it's all trending down. So isn't Jordan, Curry, we just saw, and LeBron. But again, a downwards trend is just showing you the possibilities and the opportunity to get into these guys. LeBron James, whether you love him or hate him, like I said, he is one of the best basketball players of all time. He is often regarded as the GOAT among players and fans, and his resume is incredible. Yes, he has a bunch of finals losses, but he got there. Luka hasn't got there. So it's just like LeBron James, freak athlete. He's doing incredible things at a very old age that we've never seen done before. And, we look back, 10, 20 years from now, we're like, wow, what a player that, any of these guys were. And maybe a guy like Wembanyama or Jalen Green, maybe even Luka, don't turn out to be like those guys. But that's why guys with these set in stone resumes are really good investments. Let's talk about Tom Brady, a guy who just retired. Of course, the GOAT of all sports, the GOAT of football, best player ever. I mean, we could talk all day and night about Tom Brady. Over the last 3 months, it's been a downwards trend. But again, that's okay. That shows the opportunity to buy Brady cards. We're always talking about Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. There's so many guys in football that we're talking about. People going crazy over Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, Kenny Pickett, Brock Purdy. I mean, you want me to name every quarterback in the league? If any of those quarterbacks have half the career that Tom Brady has, let's say Kenny Pickett wins 3 Super Bowls, right? And he throws for like 70,000 passing yards. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time when it's all said and done. But it's going to become nowhere close to what Tom Brady's done. Don't let the modern aged quarterbacks fool you for what these legends and GOATs have already done. And let's go even further back, and let's talk about Mickey Mantle, whose market's always all over the place. Up, down, up, down, up, down. But again, he was a true face of baseball for a good 15 years. When 1952 Topps came out, the first Topps set ever, he was the chase card. He was the face of trading cards back in the day for baseball, and he still is when you talk about baseball cards, vintage cards, and just cards in general, for honestly. There's been players that have had better careers than Mickey Mantle. However, so many people grew up watching Mickey Mantle and loved the way that he played, and it's really rubbed off on those people's kids and such like that. And of course, there's a ton of Yankee fans out there, so there's a lot going for Mickey Mantle in his market, even here in 2023. However, when you talk about the face of baseball, you think of Mickey Mantle, Ken Griffey Jr., Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout. I mean, there's a bunch of great superstars in this game. And some of them may go on to have a better career than Mickey Mantle. However, what Mickey Mantle meant to baseball back in the 50s and 60s, whether it was to the Yankees or to the fans, or what he meant to baseball trading cards, will never be replicated. And I think someone like him down the road, especially with his cards getting older and older and older, and finding well-conditioned 50s and 60s Mantle cards is going to become extremely more difficult compared to the next young prospect that we see, which we always see year after year, whether it's Bryce Harper, whether it's Mike Trout, Jackson Holliday, Jackson Chourio, Ellie De La Cruz most recently, Julio Rodriguez. There's always going to be prospects that we can get hyped up, but how many of them are going to turn their career into what Mickey Mantle did, and how many of their cards are going to be as important as Mickey Mantle's cards were? Don't think any of them will. Maybe Shohei Ohtani because he's a unicorn, he's a two-way player. But when his career is all said and done, then let's have that conversation. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I really hope you did enjoy it, as I wanted to talk about buying and investing long-term into GOATs, into legends, into superstars, and not falling for the new-aged, young, modern, hyped-up player who's extremely volatile, whereas the guys that I talked about in this video, and there's other players that we could have talked about as well, whether it's like a Joe Montana, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux for that matter, whose markets aren't nearly as volatile. But thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. If you enjoyed this video, I've queued up an excellent video that I do believe is going to be excellent for your hobby endeavors. Hopefully, I will see you in that one.